You did it again, didn't you? You spent weeks, maybe months, building. You followed the rules, you were disciplined. You saw the account grow, the profits tick up, the business stabilize. You were doing everything right. And then, in a day, maybe even an hour, you gave it all back. You broke every rule you ever set. You over-leveraged. You revenge traded. You chased a losing position. You dumped your entire marketing budget into one unproven high-risk gamble. You held on when you knew you should have sold. You sold when you knew you should have held. You watched the numbers turn red. You felt that familiar, sickening drop in your stomach. And just like that, poof, the account is blown. Again. You're back to zero. If this sounds familiar, you are not alone. This pattern is the single greatest destroyer of wealth, potential, and ambition, far more than any external market crash or competitor. The most painful question is the one you're asking yourself right now. Why? Why do I keep doing this? I'm smart. I'm capable. I know the rules. Why do I consciously act against my own best interests? Welcome. You're not lazy, you're not stupid, and you're not just bad at this. You are, however, trapped in a powerful psychological loop. You are engaging in self-sabotage. My name is Dr. Julian Cole, and as a business psychologist, I've spent my career analyzing the behavioral patterns of high performers, from traders to CEOs. And I can tell you that blowing up your account is not a technical problem. It's not a strategy problem. It is a psychological problem. In this video, we are going to go deep. This isn't another top 5 tips video. We are going to dissect the behavioral science behind why you do this. We will explore the neurological engine, the dopamine effect, that fuels this destructive cycle. We will look at how the world's most successful entrepreneurs have battled this exact demon. And at the end, I will give you 3 practical, actionable strategies grounded in psychology to finally break the pattern and build the consistency you deserve. This is the intervention you've been waiting for. Let's begin. To solve a problem, we must first correctly diagnose it. Most people misdiagnose self-sabotage. They think it's a moment of madness, a temporary lapse in judgment. They are wrong. Self-sabotage is not an event. It is the result of a deep underlying conflict between your conscious goals and your subconscious programming. Your conscious mind, the part of you watching this video, wants success, profit, and consistency. But your subconscious mind, the powerful hidden operator, often wants something else entirely. So, what does it want? Why would it possibly want to destroy your success? There are 2 primary behavioral drivers I see every day. First is a concept you may have heard of, but perhaps not in this context: the fear of success. We all understand the fear of failure. It's simple. We avoid risk to avoid pain, but the fear of success is far more insidious. In his book, The Big Leap, the psychologist Gay Hendricks calls this the upper limit problem. We all have an internal thermostat for how much success, happiness, and abundance we believe we are allowed to feel. This limit is set in our childhood, based on messages we received about what we deserve and what's possible. When you start to succeed, when the account grows, the business flourishes, you push past that old familiar setting. You enter uncharted territory, and your subconscious mind panics. It feels unsafe. This new level of success brings new problems, new expectations, and a new identity. Can I maintain this? Will people expect this from me all the time? What if I lose it all from this new height? The fall will be even worse. I don't recognize this successful version of myself. Who am I? This discomfort, this imposter syndrome, becomes so overwhelming that your subconscious creates an emergency brake. It needs to get you back to a state that feels familiar and safe. And what is the fastest, most effective way to return to that familiar baseline of struggle? You blow the account. You sabotage the project. You pick a fight with your business partner. You do something to bring yourself back down to the level where you feel at home. Even if that home is miserable, the destruction is a twisted form of relief. It ends the anxiety of success. You are no longer an imposter because you are no longer a success. You are once again the striving or struggling person you've always known. The problem isn't that you can't achieve success, it's that you can't tolerate it. The second driver is even more counterintuitive. We self-sabotage because it gives us a perverse sense of control. Think about it. The market, the business world, it's the definition of chaos. It's uncertain. You can do everything right and still lose. You can do everything wrong and still win in the short term. This randomness is psychologically agonizing. When you're in a losing streak, you feel powerless. The market is doing this to you. Your business is failing you. But when you decide to go all in on one reckless gamble, when you consciously break your rule and hit that button, you are the one making the decision. In that moment, you are in control. It's a going out in a blaze of glory mentality. You are taking the randomness out of the equation. You are deciding the how and when of your own failure. It is a desperate, nihilistic act to reclaim agency. You would rather be the author of your own destruction than a victim of random chance. This is why, strangely, blowing up an account can feel almost good for a split second. It's the feeling of taking the wheel, even if you are steering directly off a cliff. You've replaced the anxiety of uncertainty with the certainty of failure. These two drivers, the fear of a new identity and the desperate need for control, create the fertile ground for self-sabotage, but they are just the why. They don't explain the how. They don't explain that manic energy, that irresistible urge you feel in the moment. To understand that, we need to look inside your brain. We need to talk about the most dangerous chemical in the world of entrepreneurship. We need to talk about dopamine. There is a huge misconception about dopamine. It is constantly called the pleasure chemical. This is dangerously inaccurate. Dopamine is not about pleasure. It is about anticipation and motivation. It is the chemical that says, "This is important. Pay attention. Go get it." Its job is to ensure our survival. Thousands of years ago, it rewarded us for seeking new food sources or potential mates. It's the seeking chemical. Now, let's apply this ancient survival circuit to the modern world of business and trading. Your brain's dopamine system doesn't just spike when you get the reward, the profit. It spikes in anticipation of the reward. In fact, the spike of anticipation is often higher than the feeling of actually getting the reward. This is the first piece of the puzzle. You are not addicted to the money. You are addicted to the chase. But it gets so much worse. The psychologist B.F. Skinner discovered the most powerful force for addiction known to man. He called it a variable ratio reinforcement schedule. This is a slot machine. You pull the lever. You don't know if you'll win, and you don't know how much you'll win. It is completely, totally random, and it is the most addictive by design object on Earth. Why? Because when a reward is unpredictable, our dopamine system goes into hyperdrive. The uncertainty of the win is precisely what makes it so compelling. Now, look at your business. Look at your trading. It's a slot machine. You execute a trade. Will it work? Maybe. You launch a new ad. Will it convert? Who knows? You make a cold call. Will they buy? Unpredictable. Your work is a giant, high-stakes variable reinforcement schedule, and your brain loves it. Now let's put this all together. What is good, consistent business? What is good, disciplined trading? It's boring. It's taking small, predictable wins. It's following your plan. It's doing the same, repetitive, high-probability task over and over. It's not exciting. It provides a steady, low-level release of serotonin, the contentment chemical, but it offers almost no dopamine spikes. Your system is boring, but your system is what makes you rich. Now let's look at self-sabotage. What is blowing up your account? It's going all in. It's risking everything on one trade. It's the Hail Mary product launch. It is the single biggest dopamine hit you can possibly give your brain. The moment you decide to break your rules, the anticipation floods your system. This could be it. This could be the one. I could make back all my losses in one move. I could be a hero. Your pupils dilate, your heart races, your prefrontal cortex, the logical CEO part of your brain, goes completely offline. You are now being driven by the most primitive, powerful, reward-seeking part of your brain. You are, quite literally, an addict looking for your next fix. And here is the most crucial part. You are no longer trying to make money. You are trying to feel something. You've become so bored with the slow, steady process of building that you've become addicted to the thrill of gambling. And blowing up is the ultimate thrill. It's the highest high followed by the lowest low. So you see, this isn't a you problem. This is a human problem. Your ancient brain is not designed for the modern-day high-stakes slot machine of the market. It's designed to seek, and you are giving it the ultimate, unpredictable thing to seek. The pattern is complete. Your fear of success and need for control set the stage. Your boredom with the slow path to success makes you crave excitement. And your dopamine-driven brain provides the engine for that excitement, hijacking your logical mind and pushing you to hit the self-destruct button. So, how do we fight back? How do we beat a system that is hardwired into our very biology? We do it by not fighting biology, but by respecting it. And we learn from those who have. The battle you are fighting is not new. Every single successful person you admire has fought this exact internal war. The ones who win are not the ones who never feel the urge to self-sabotage. They are the ones who have built systems to make that urge irrelevant. They have successfully subordinated their emotional, dopamine-seeking brain to their logical, systems-oriented brain. Let's first look at Ray Dalio, the founder of Bridgewater Associates, one of the world's largest hedge funds. Dalio is a genius. But early in his career, his ego and emotional conviction led him to make a massive wrong bet that nearly bankrupted him. He blew up his account. What did he do? He didn't just try harder. He had a profound realization. He could not trust himself. His emotions, his biases, his gut feelings, they were liabilities, not assets. So he began a process of building a system outside of himself. He started writing down principles, objective, timeless rules for every decision. If he had an idea, he would backtest it. He would debate it with the smartest people he could find. He and his team literally coded their decision-making logic into algorithms. His entire philosophy is built on one idea. The system is smarter than the person. He built a machine to protect himself from himself. When the market gets crazy and his dopamine brain is screaming, go, 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 he doesn't have to listen. He just looks at the system. What does the algorithm say? What does the principle say? He automated his discipline. He replaced emotional, spontaneous decisions with a cold, logical, pre-committed process. Now let's look at Warren Buffett. Buffett is the ultimate anti-dopamine investor. His entire strategy is deliberately boring. He is famous for saying, "The stock market is a device for transferring money from the impatient to the patient." He's also said, "We don't get paid for activity, just for being right." While the rest of the world is chasing the next hot, exciting, high dopamine stock, Buffett is in his office, reading. He's reading annual reports. He's reading financial statements. He is doing the boring work of finding predictable, long-term value. He has a 20-slot punch card rule. He imagines he only has 20 investments he can make in his entire life. This forces him to avoid the thousands of pretty good ideas and wait patiently for the one great idea. Buffett isn't immune to the thrill of the chase. He just has a strategy that completely sidesteps it. He has mastered the art of inaction. He has made patience his weapon. He wins by not playing the high dopamine game that everyone else is addicted to. What do these two icons teach us? Dalio teaches us that you must build a system that is stronger than your emotions. Buffett teaches us that you must redefine your win and learn to embrace the boredom of consistency. Their success is not built on diamond hands or nerves of steel. It's built on process. It's built on rules. It's built on an ironclad respect for their own human fallibility. Now, it's time to build your system. You cannot willpower your way out of self-sabotage. You cannot try harder. Your willpower is a finite resource that will always lose to your dopamine-driven survival brain in a moment of high stress. We are not going to rely on willpower. We are going to rely on strategy. Here are the 3 practical psychology-based strategies you must implement. Strategy number 1. The pre-commitment contract. This is your Ray Dalio strategy. You must accept that the person making the decisions in the heat of the moment is not you. It's an emotional, compromised, dopamine addict version of you. We'll call him Gambler You. Your job is to never let Gambler You take the wheel. You do this by creating a pre-commitment contract. written by your most logical, calm, and rational self. We'll call him CEO You. Tonight, when you are calm and the market is closed, CEO You is going to write a one-page document. This is your new Bible. It must be non-negotiable. It will include your thou shalt not rules. These are the cardinal sins. I will never add to a losing position. I will never risk more than 2% of my account on one idea. I will never launch a product without 10 pre-sales. Your entry-exit criteria, the exact objective conditions that must be met before you enter a trade or start a project. No gut feelings allowed. Your kill switch. This is the most important. You must define in advance what will force you to stop. For example, if I have 3 losing trades in a row, I must close my computer and walk away for the day. Or if I lose X dollars, a max daily loss, I am done. Period. This contract is your shield. It's an algorithm for your behavior. When Gambler You shows up tomorrow, full of anxiety or greed, he doesn't get to make a decision. The decision is already made. It's right there in the contract. Your only job is not to be smart, not to be a genius. Your only job is to execute the plan. This is how you automate your discipline. Strategy number 2, the process journal. This strategy is designed to directly attack the dopamine problem. Right now, your brain is wired to get a dopamine hit from outcomes, big wins, or big losses. We need to rewire it to get a dopamine hit from process. We need to make following your plan feel like the win. Here's how. At the end of every single business day, you will not just log your profit or loss. That's an outcome, and it's often random. Instead, you will open your process journal and answer one question and one question only. Did I follow my pre-commitment contract 100% today? This is now your only metric for success. Think about this. If you followed your rules perfectly and had a losing day, you must log that as a win. You get a big green check mark. You celebrate it. You successfully executed your plan. You were a professional. If you broke your rules and had a winning day, you must log that as a failure. It's a big red X. Why? Because you reinforced a bad habit. You let Gambler You take the wheel and got lucky. That is a step backwards on your path to consistency. This simple act done consistently will retrain your brain. You will literally start to get your dopamine hit from checking the box, from the act of being disciplined. This is how you embrace the boring path. You've gamified the process, not the outcome. This is the small wins approach. The win is no longer, I made $1,000. The win is, I followed my rules for the 20th day in a row. That is the foundation of consistency. Strategy number 3, the circuit breaker and the identity shift. This is the deepest and most powerful strategy. Self-sabotage is, at its core, an identity problem. You keep blowing up your accounts because, subconsciously, you see yourself as the person who tries and fails. You see yourself as the gambler or the undisciplined one. As long as that is your identity, you will always find a way to make it true. We must break this pattern and build a new identity. We do this in 2 steps. First, the circuit breaker. You need a pre-planned physical action to interrupt the emotional hijack the moment you feel it. The urge to self-sabotage is a powerful wave of emotional energy. You cannot think your way out of it. You must act your way out of it. Your circuit breaker could be setting a 20-minute timer on your phone and physically standing up and walking out of the room. You are not allowed to make a decision until that timer goes off. Immediately calling a mentor or an accountability partner and saying, I am feeling the urge to do something stupid. Talk me down. Having a printed photo of your family or your goals and forcing yourself to look at it and articulate why you are about to betray them. This physical act is a pattern interrupt. It breaks the hypnotic, emotional loop and gives your prefrontal cortex, your rational CEO You, a chance to come back online. Second, the identity shift. After you've broken the pattern, you must actively build your new identity. You are no longer a gambler trying to be disciplined. From this day forward, you are a disciplined professional. You are a systems operator. You are a risk manager. Write this new identity down. I am a professional risk manager who executes my plan flawlessly. Read it every morning. Read it every time you use your circuit breaker. When the urge to self-sabotage arises, you can now say, a gambler would do that, but I am a professional, and a professional sticks to the plan. This is not fake it till you make it. This is acting as if. You are telling your subconscious mind who is in charge and what the new rules are. You are building an identity where self-sabotage is not just a bad choice, it's out of character. The journey to stop blowing up your accounts is not a journey to find the perfect strategy. It's not about finding the next hot stock or the next big business idea. The journey is an internal one. It's the journey of understanding that your success is being held hostage by your own, well-meaning but outdated survival hardware. It's about diagnosing the why, the fear of success, and the need for control. It's about respecting the engine, the powerful addictive force of a variable dopamine reward schedule. And it's about building a fortress to protect yourself from yourself. You will do this, not with willpower, but with systems. You will implement your pre-commitment contract to make your rational self the boss. You will use the process journal to rewire your brain to love consistency. And you will use your circuit breaker and identity shift to break the old patterns and forge a new professional self. This is not easy. This is the hardest work you will ever do. It's harder than any market analysis, harder than any product development. But the person on the other side of this battle is the person you've always wanted to be: consistent, profitable, and finally, in control. The war is not between you and the market. The war is between CEO you and Gambler you. It's time to choose who wins.